It was never them, it was your standards. Hey loves, it's your girl Sassy, and welcome back to another episode of Sassy Speaks. We are in the finale of Messy March, and we were going to take this out sassy style. I mean, because how else, right? First off, excuse my voice. This pollen is trying to take us out literally. Is this going to be how Jesus returns to take us out? It's pollen. My poor husband is on his last leg, but we gonna make it through. We gonna make it through. All right, so let's get into this last episode for March. Can you believe it? It is almost April. Where has the time gone? But anyway, let's get into it. Messy March is almost over, and some of y'all still acting confused. So wait, are you trying to tell me I'm the problem? Yeah, you're the problem. But let me go ahead and clear this up right now. You weren't confused. You were just hopeful. So, therefore, today we're going to talk about the biggest plot twist of the entire month. First off, let's talk about the illusion. Again, you weren't confused, you were hopeful. Hope had you rereading text messages, making excuses, and turning bare minimum effort into potential. You saw the red flags, you gave them the benefit of the doubt over and over again. And listen, I get it. You know, seeing the good in people is beautiful, but not when it has you ignoring the reality right in front of your face. Everything about illusion that looks good, but it's actually chaos in a cute outfit, right? The illusion is the highlight reel. The filter is the we're so happy post. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, you have nothing but stress, disrespect, confusion, and the vibes that feel off. So, what are some illusions that we deal with? The illusion of a perfect relationship. Yeah, they post bay every week, but cry every night. And a cute couple doesn't mean a healthy one. Wow. The illusion of effort. Bare minimum dressed up as he's trying. No, ma'am, no, sir. Replying what you doing at 11 p.m. is not emotional investment. We all know what that is. The illusion of change. I swear I'm different now. Yeah, same man, same woman, new lies, slightly upgraded vocabulary. Yeah, we can all do that. Google is a man's best friend, right? The illusion of options. Wow. Talking to five people and still feeling lonely? That's not options. That's confusion with Wi-Fi. Because you got options, you feel like you have options, but you don't have options. And we'll talk about that another episode. So if it looks perfect online, check the comments or the reality. Because some people know for real. Some people know you for real. You know, an illusion will have you loyal to potential instead of reality. Wow. Stop dating the idea of them. The real them is undefeated. Wow. And some of y'all aren't in love. You're under a spell. And baby, the illusion only works if you keep lying to yourself. So let's wake up, please. Do we need to set an alarm and wake up? Because this is not what we're going to take into April. Let's talk about what you tolerated. At some point, it stops being about what they're doing and starts being about what you're allowing. You tolerated inconsistency. You accepted excuses. You made space for someone who wasn't even trying to fill it. Because people will meet you at the level of access you give them. Let that sit for a minute. And if you keep the door open for nonsense, Don't be shocked when nonsense keeps walking in. You know, what did you tolerate? You tolerate not what they did, not what just happened. You tolerated what you allowed. Because let's be real, some of the chaos didn't sneak in. It was given a VIP pass. What? VIP? We don't just get hurt by people. We get hurt by the standards we lowered to keep them. You saw the red flags and you decorated them. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't confusing. You just called it potential instead of it was really a warning. The first time was a lesson and the second time was a choice. They showed you exactly who they were early. Everything after that, you're negotiating with reality like it's an option. Is that loyalty or self-respect? Staying through disrespect is not a badge of honor. It's emotional overtime with no paycheck. And who's trying to work without getting paid? You train them how to treat you. Every time you let something slide, you send a message. This is acceptable. And guess what? They delivered consistently. You didn't miss the red flags. You made excuses for them. And the closure isn't missing. It's the accountability. You kept forgiving what you should have been finished with. And they didn't play you. You kept pressing continue. Some of y'all are heartbroken over situations that should have ended early. You got to get that expiration date. You didn't deserve the disrespect. But healing starts when you admit you tolerated it longer than you should have. So not to shame yourself, but to never sign up for that again. So stop asking why they did it. Start asking why you stayed after you saw it. Because what you tolerated, that's the standard you're living with until today. Wow. So the mirror moment. Yeah, I'm not just going to dig into you. Let's be real. Why did you stay? Was it loneliness dressed up as loyalty? Or were you in love with who you thought they could be instead of who they actually were? But sometimes it's not that you didn't see the red flags. You just didn't think you deserved better for them. That's deep. That cuts deep. And that right there, that's the part we face. Because why don't you feel like we deserve better? At some point, you have to stop asking, why does this keep happening to me? And start asking, why do I keep choosing this? Yeah, it gets real quiet here. The mirror moment is about accountability without excuses. Not shame, not guilt, just the truth. Because patterns don't come from nowhere. They come from what feels familiar. Your type might be the problem. If every relationship ends the same way, it's not a coincidence. It's a pattern. And your type might just be your trauma in a cute outfit. So we got to figure that out, honey. We got to figure that out. Are you attracting it or accepting it? Let's clear it up. You're not a magnet for nonsense. You're just not rejecting it fast enough. Wow. The role you played, yeah, you had one. Did you overgive? Ignore the signs? Stay silent to keep the peace? Yeah, that part. What are we doing, honey? Healing isn't cute, it's honest. Growth isn't posting quotes. It's changing behavior, even when it's uncomfortable. The common denominator in your relationships is you. You keep meeting different people with the same spirit. Self-awareness will humble you real quick. You weren't unlucky. You were unavailable to better. Growth starts when the excuses stop. So it's not about blaming yourself for what happened. It's about recognizing your power to choose differently next time. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Everybody wants clarity until the mirror starts talking back. And when it does, don't look away. That reflection, that's where the real upgrade begins. And then that's when we come to raising the standards. You got to have high standards, honey, because it's trash out here. What they say is pee in the dating pool. And I'm so glad I'm not out there. Let me tell you, if I was out there single, I'd probably be a nun because it's not worth it. I promise you. So, raising our standards, right? Standards aren't about being picky, they're about being protected. Consistency over confusion, effort over excuses, communication over guessing games. And most importantly, my favorite word, peace. Because the right situation will never have you questioning your worth. Not doing more, not being hard to love, just finally requiring what you should have never gone without. When you raise your standards, you don't lose people. You lose access to people who are only qualified for your lowest expectations. Bare minimum. So the pushback is proof, right? The moment you require consistency, communication, and respect, suddenly you're doing too much. No, honey, you're just not settling anymore. And you're not accepting the bare minimum. And you can't upgrade and stay the same. New standards mean new behavior. You can't want better and still entertain what you outgrew. Yeah, he fine. Yeah, she beautiful, but what is she doing? What is he doing? It's not worth it because it ain't all about looks. Loneliness versus peace. Well, let's be honest. Raising your standards will have you alone for a minute. But that silence, way better than confusion, disrespect, and emotional roller coasters. Standards without boundaries are just wishes. Saying I deserve better means nothing if you don't walk away when you don't get it. Can I get an amen? Hello, somebody. You're not asking for too much. You're just accepting too little. That one hurts. Access to you is a privilege, not a right. If they can't meet your standard, they can meet the exit. And your old type can't afford the new you. Standards expose who was only comfortable when you had none. And honestly, real talk, you will be misunderstood. You will be called different, and you might even question yourself. But let me be clear. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries will always have an issue when you find them. Raising your standards will cost you people, comfort, and old habits, but it will never cost you your worth. And honestly, that's a price you should have stopped paying a long time ago. I know at one point before I met my husband, there was a time when I had standards. And of course, I had my fun, had friends or whatever. But when it came down to buckling down for a relationship, I had standards. They were non negotiable because I knew what I wanted. I knew what I deserved, and I was okay with being alone if I never got it. And that's okay. And that's what it is. You have to be okay with being alone. And so let's shift for April. If it's not clear, it's a no. If it's not consistent, it's a goodbye. We're not lowering our standards to keep people. We're raising them and letting the wrong ones remove themselves. No more auditions. No more, maybe they'll change. No more ignoring your gut just because you like the vibe. I'm gonna tell you, them vibes will get you in trouble. So March was messy. April is where you get intentional, disciplined, and a little harder to access. This ain't about revenge, blow ups, or attention, or proving a point. This is about moving different because you finally know better. The shift is when your actions start matching everything you said you deserved. No more speeches, no more almost, just alignment. This is where you go from awareness to action. You know your patterns now. So, what are you going to actually change? Because insight without action is just self aware chaos. And don't nobody want that. Discipline over feelings. Now, this one right here, let me tell you, this is not easy. And this is where most of us lose it. Just because you miss them doesn't mean you go back. April is about choosing peace even when your emotions are loud. So let's get over them emotions. Private growth hits different. You're doing this for you. Not everything needs to be posted. We don't need to know everything. And this is about healing in private. Again, not everything needs to be posted. The real glow up is quiet, consistent, and undeniable. Moving like you've learned something. Same standards, stronger boundaries, quicker exits. No more benefit of the doubt for people who showed you enough. Believe them. When they show you who they are, believe them. You said you were done. April is where we prove it. Healing without discipline is just a cute idea. Stop checking on them and check your growth. You don't need closure, you need consistency. And act like the lesson stuck. Because growth isn't proven by what you say, it's proven by what you no longer tolerate, entertain, or respond to. And that is the shift. March showed you everything you needed to see. April is about what you're going to do with it. Same you or upgraded behavior. Because the shift isn't loud, it's consistent. Yeah? So Messy March is over. The bar is raised. Access is limited. And confusion, baby, that's canceled. We're not explaining ourselves. We're not overextending. And we're definitely not entertaining anything that doesn't come from clarity, consistency, and respect. So take the lessons and leave the mess. And walk into April like you finally remember who you are. Yeah? And that's all I got to say about the issue. So again, reach out to me. Let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns. Leave a review. I'm open to it all. April is coming. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know if we're going to keep it up with the themes or if we're just going to have random conversations. I don't know. I guess we'll know when we get there. But feel free to reach out to me. Email sassyspeakspod@gmail.com. Facebook, Sassy Speaks. IG, Sassy Speaks Pod. And until the next episode, y'all stay safe and stay sassy. And please stay smart. All right, loves. Bye.